The call came while the tide was changing. Not loud, not urgent, just a concierge's voice, careful and polite, asking if I'd authorized room service after checkout. I watched the beach from my balcony, the white churn, the gulls cutting low, the afternoon sun bruising into gold. My phone vibrated again. A second charge. Then a third. Champagne brands I knew by reputation, not taste. Vintage numbers that looked like dates you never forget. I said nothing. Silence has weight when you know how to hold it. Downstairs, the lobby glass reflected movement. Figures drifting in, out, bracelets flashing, towels still damp. They laughed like people who believed the bill would disappear. They didn't look at it. I felt the old heat rise. The familiar surge. I pressed it down. There was a time I would have rushed, confronted, shattered something. But time teaches you better methods. I asked the concierge to itemize. A pause. Then a softer voice. Sir, they charged everything to the room. After you checked out. I watched the elevator light climb. Ding. Ding. I already knew who it was. The betrayal didn't arrive as a scream. It arrived as a pattern. Late returns. Unexplained upgrades. A sudden fluency in luxury she never cared for before. She said it was work. Conferences. Networking. The words slid off her tongue too easily, like they'd been rehearsed in a mirror. I nodded. I smiled. I learned the shape of her lies by the way she avoided specifics. And him. He was a friend. That's how these things begin. A man who laughed too loud, paid too often, and remembered details about her life I hadn't shared. The kind of man who stood a fraction too close, who spoke with his hands when she was near. I noticed. I catalogued. When they suggested a group trip, something cold settled in my chest. Beachside. Neutral ground. A place where secrets could stretch their legs. I booked the suite. I paid in advance. I told myself it was generosity. It was insurance. That first night, I slept alone. The balcony door open. The ocean breathing. Their room card swiped after midnight. Twice. I didn't follow. I didn't ask. Truth reveals itself when you stop chasing it. I became invisible. That's the trick. Disappear without leaving. I watched receipts appear in my email. Spa services. Private cabanas. Bottles with prices that read like insults. They never asked. They never hesitated. They assumed the room would absorb it all. People who steal don't see theft. They see entitlement. I pulled phone records. Not messages patterns. Calls clustered late. Silences that aligned too neatly with her stories. I tracked timestamps against room charges, keycard swipes, elevator logs. Everything has a record if you know where to look. At breakfast, she talked about the sea. He talked about sunsets. I listened to the gaps between their words. The pauses where truth tried to breathe. Inside me, a storm paced its cage. I ordered coffee. I didn't drink. I smiled at jokes I'd already heard rehearsed somewhere else. I nodded while my mind built scaffolding. No confrontations. Not yet. When the charges crossed a line even for them, I made one call. Not to them. To the owner. The owner was efficient. Old money. Clean edges. Trespassing requires intent. Theft requires proof. Both require patience. I provided everything. Checkout time. Itemized charges. Names that didn't match the registered guest. When I handed her the folio, I didn't raise my voice. Did you enjoy yourselves? She looked up, confused. Then pale. He froze mid-smile, mid-story, a man caught between roles. I slid the papers across the table. Room number, totals, signatures. She reached for me. I leaned back. No, I said. Just once. Quiet. Final. Her breath fractured. He spoke too fast, too loud. Excuses stacked like wet sand. I watched them crumble. Composure is a weapon. I sharpened mine. They were still arguing when the police arrived. Beachside. Public. Sunlight merciless. The owner pressed charges. Trespassing. Theft. The word sounded clinical, almost kind. Handcuffs clicked with a soft finality. She saw me then, up on the balcony. Above it all, she begged. He shouted. Promises spilled like the champagne they'd ordered without asking. I lifted my hand, not to wave goodbye, to acknowledge receipt. The officers led them away, feet dragging through sand they'd never notice again. Phones confiscated. Stories collapsing under their own weight. I felt nothing explode, nothing break. Just a quiet alignment. Like bones set properly. I checked out an hour later. Left the key on the counter. Left the past where it belonged. On the drive home, the ocean receded in the mirror. I didn't look back. I didn't need to. Some truths don't chase you, they wait. I learned something important that weekend. Betrayal thrives on noise. Revenge thrives on silence. They asked for mercy. I gave them consequences. And that was enough.